My name is Chris Cameron. I am the founder of College Hoops Connect recruiting service. We offer basketball prospects customized recruiting assistance, skills assessments, and athletic development. We also provide professional development for middle and high school coaches. We have assisted over 75 high school prospects with signing to play college basketball. Additionally, I am a former Division II head coach, and I have 18 years of experience coaching, recruiting, and scouting players to play college basketball.
As a recruiter, when selecting talent, does academic play an important role in your selection of choice?
Academics is the most important factor. If you have the talent and skill on the court, but don't have the education to match, you limit your opportunities by 75%. There are about 1,650 four-year colleges that have athletic programs and about 350 two-year colleges or junior colleges that have athletic programs. The four-year schools have admissions requirements that are monitored by the NCAA, which is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or the NAIA, which is the National Athletic Intercollegiate Association. Both of these associations decide if players or if athletes are allowed to come in and play in their respective sport coming out of high school. So they have to satisfy a certain test score plus a certain GPA. The athletes have to meet the academic requirement to get a scholarship to play at an institution. So for that school to provide any type of assistance, they have to meet those requirements. Additionally, college coaches look for athletes who are proven or who have proven that they can be successful in the classroom as well as the court. So looking at GPAs, looking at test scores on college placement exams are critical ways coaches are making determinations on if they need to recruit a certain athlete.
As a college recruiter, in your opinion, based on current, previous experience, or even research, do you think academics play an important role in the targeted, predominantly African American, middle, high, public schools sports program? If so, why? Or if not, why not?
In the lower socioeconomic African American communities, I have seen this more. I think various factors contribute to this. First, home atmosphere may play a huge part in this. If the parent works evenings, the athlete may struggle to get academic assistance at home or lacks the discipline to study. As a result, the athletes come to school unprepared. Second, some coaches or athletic departments don't hold players accountable. This is not true for every coach or athletic department, but some coaches allow players to play and practice with low GPAs without asking them to focus more attention in their studies or redirecting them to apply more attention to the areas where they're deficient. When I coached college for 13 years, we had a mandatory study hall for our student athletes. The lower your GPA was, the more time you spent in study hall. If you were failing, your practice time was reduced and you spent more time in tutoring, study hall, or working with your instructor. I feel that this is what is needed on the high school level in some cases. The coach has to provide an atmosphere that motivates athletes to learn.
Interesting. Well, in your opinion, based on current or previous experience, have you ever witnessed any predominantly African American middle/high public school sports program participants struggling academically to meet the academic requirements?
Academics should be the most important factor. However, many athletes require on their athletic skill to provide an opportunity for them to attend college instead of their academic skill. Several athletes fail at participating in college athletics because they haven't committed themselves academically. They have a hard time being successful in the classroom because they may lack basic academic skills that they fail to learn while on the high school level. For example, time management skills, study skills, and reading and writing skills. As a college athlete, you have a rigorous daily schedule. It's important that the education of how to be successful or the education of how to be a successful college student starts with your high school program.
In your opinion, based on current or previous experience, have you ever witnessed your selected talent academically struggling parents finding it difficult to see the importance of addressing their child's academic needs?
I think for some people, finding the right balance of academics and athletic achievement is a challenge for them. For example, if a child is really good in sports but struggle academically, some parents feel like if they take the child away from sports, the child will do worse in the classroom because he or she has nothing to motivate them. I don't agree with this, but I have seen this happen many times, especially on the high school levels. This is why I think it's important for the coach to set the standard for his or her players by holding them accountable on and off the court.
Do you feel the Coach Carter movie was a true depiction of what is currently happening in our community?
I believe the movie Coach Carter was very relevant to some of the issues that inner city schools that are predominantly African American or minority face. In the African American community, many athletes devote a lot of their time to their sport. From my experience, some are equally focused on their academics as well as their athletic ability. However, as we saw in the movie, some athletes feel as if their talent is all they need to have. There are a lot of factors concerning this issue. I would like to address a couple. Parents sometimes don't emphasize the importance of education. Coaches/teachers allow athletes to participate in sports even though they know the athlete isn't passing. Winning games become more of a priority to everyone. So the athlete is conditioned to value athletics over academics. All of this sets up our athletes for failure on the college level. I've seen coaches that are more concerned with winning games versus developing young men and teaching them to take accountability. Education means inspiring someone's mind to learn. Coach Carter did that for his players. We have to teach our student athletes to use sports and not let sports use them. As coaches and teachers, we have to hold athletes accountable and inspire them to learn and educate themselves. If you know better, you do better. My name is Chris Cameron. I am the founder of College Hoops Connect recruiting service. We offer basketball.
Eli Bryant, media assistant, head basketball coach at Ricketts High School.
As a high school coach, when coaching talent, does academics play an important role in your program?
Yes, it does. The athlete, the Florida High School Athletic Association said that you have to have a 2.5 in order to play basketball. And to obtain a college scholarship, you need at least a 2.8 in a core curriculum. So academics come very much before athletics, because without the academic part of it, there is no athletics.
As a high school coach, in your opinion, based on experience or research, do you think academics play an important role in predominantly black public school sports program?
Well, I can only speak about the Ricketts High School basketball program, and academics does play an important part in it. We have a mandatory study hall that is monitored by a teacher here on staff. We've always had one. We strive to have a core grade point average for each individual player of 2.8. We fall short of that from time to time. We have had a team core grade point average as high as 3.2, and we've been as low as 2.4. And I found over the years, getting kids to diligently try and prepare themselves academically has gotten harder and harder. My first team bought in right away. 4 of them earned academic scholarships through the study hall. The academic advisor then held their feet to the fire. We made a deal that I wouldn't interfere with her getting them prepared academically, and she wouldn't interfere with me getting them prepared athletically, and it worked out very well. And she had a total control. She said kid couldn't practice because he needed to do an assignment. He didn't practice until she cleared it. Well, the lady that I'm speaking about was the guidance counselor here. And I knew from being around other programs and having the opportunity to be around Coach Hamilton's program, several other programs, how they went about making sure academics was a priority. And her being an educator, at the time I was working for the city of Tallahassee. I'm a retired city of Tallahassee employee. But at the time, that was her job, and I asked her to help me and get them ready academically, because that was always my focus when I took this job, because I'd been here and I'd seen kids come here, play, not qualified to go to a 4-year college, having to go to junior college, and that's just something that I knew needed to be addressed. And I said that would be the first thing that I addressed, because we never had a problem having good basketball teams at Ricketts.
If so, can you explain, please?
Yes, I have. In my first year here, one of our better players didn't make the second semester academically. He couldn't play the second semester, and we had two players that could not play second semester because of academics. Ninth grade, usually kids, you have to target them in ninth grade. That's when they're making the transition from junior high to high school. They're getting a little more freedom from their parents. They're realizing that there are girls there. There's so many distractions, and they got caught up in it. But to their credit, and to our academic counselor's credit, Ms. Williams, she pulled them in. They got busy and got the work done, and we've stopped having that problem. We are where we need to be right now. I mean, that's my renewed focus right now. Fortunately, I got great coaching staff that I can focus academically and socially on my kids and not have to have 100% focus athletically, because the assistant coaches are so good with them athletically. So I can really be on them socially and academically.
As a high school coach, have you witnessed the parents finding it difficult to see the importance of addressing their child who is in an athletic program academic needs? If so, can you explain?
I don't like to go here, but that sometimes that's where the breakdown is. And we got a letter that when a kid comes in ninth grade, we give it to the parent, telling them what we do, how we try to nurture their kids academically, athletically, socially, and ask them to conference with the kids' teachers at least once a semester. Ask them to get involved academically. We don't need them involved athletically, and socially, and ask them to have a curfew. He needs to be 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. Needs to be home at a certain time. Doesn't need to have free roam to do whatever he wants to do. And you can't tell nobody how to run their house, but I do ask them, about these things. If you don't know what your kid's doing in school, you don't have a study hall for them. This study hall here's not going to work unless you got one at home to go along with this and support this. Because we got a thing now where we've always had it. You don't go to study hall, you miss a game. You just won't play. I've never seen the movie, but what I can hear from other people about the movie, it's a good movie, and it sends a good message. And I think every coach needs to be held accountable for his kids academically. And when it boils down, kids spends more time with us individually than he does with a teacher. Don't a teacher have class 2.5 hours? We have practice 2.5 hours. And I hate to admit, sometimes it stretches into 3 hours. So we got that kid more time, for more minutes than anybody else does. So it's our responsibility, I think, and Coach Carter, if that's what he was doing, and I think these kids need to be held accountable socially too. Because you get in a lot of trouble if you don't control yourself socially. There's a lot of things out there. In a lot of places they don't need to go, and somebody needs to call their attention to, like I always caution them about 5 of you all in a car. That's just a problem getting ready to happen. You don't need in today's America, and I'm probably gonna say too much here, but 5 black kids in the wrong side of town riding in a car attract the wrong kind of attention, and that's just a fact. And we have to be careful, and certain things you can't do anything about. I'd like to cut their hair. I don't go there. Just don't like it. But I don't give them no grief about their hair. If you can go in your house like that, that's fine. But I will say from time to time, when you go get a job, you better hope whoever's doing the interviewing and doing the hiring look like you, got hair like you. Because otherwise, that person might not like people with hair like that. And I'll leave it alone with that. I don't like the way my grandson's hair. Or my son's hair, for that matter. But my son's an adult, so I don't bother him about that. But my values that my parents raised me with, I think are still good values. So these kids, we came, being 72 years old, I've seen a lot of changes, and I've seen a lot of things that needed to be changed that have not changed, and a lot of things that have changed superficially. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these kids don't understand what they're looking at and what they're dealing with here in today's America. Eli Bryant.